This is the Sports Sit Down with Mike Damergis.
Mike Damergis here with Charles Brooks, a defensive lineman with the Magnolia State Spartans of the Arena Football League. Also went to school in Chicago, and CC, as they call him, all his friends, is looking to get to the NFL. How are you going to make that happen, CC? By sacking a few quarterbacks in the Arena League? What else are you going to do?
It's going to be a great year. I'm whatever it takes, like whatever I got to do. I know I'm going to get there. God's will. Like, I know I will be there one day. Yeah.
We all, as kids, look to emulate players and football players, baseball players. I grew up watching Catfish Hunter pitch, Reggie Jackson play. Who did you grow up? Who did you want to be like when you knew you wanted to be a football player?
My story is kind of interesting because I didn't really begin to play organized football until I was about 14 years old. I was a baseball and basketball guy before I started playing football. But some of my idols that I looked up to was more so Sean Alexander. He was running back for the Seahawks because when I first started playing, I played running back. So the dominance that he brought to Alabama and to Seattle Seahawks, which is my favorite football team, it just made me want to just get out there and just do what he do. If not do it at a better rate than he did. So, but Sean Alexander, Kobe Bryant. Sorry for everybody that's back at home in Chicago. Kobe Bryant is my GOAT. So I respect Michael. I respect MJ, but Kobe Bryant's my GOAT. So I got it. I'm a 90s baby. From the end of I was born in 96, so I didn't catch MJ during his, his young years and, the 10 scoring titles and everything. I didn't see any of that, but I did see the greatness of Kobe Bryant. So that's my GOAT. But Sean Alexander, he tore Alabama up. He tore the Seahawks up, took it to the Super Bowl in 2006 against the Steelers. Unfortunately, it didn't win it, but, I still root for him nowadays. But a couple years later, did it with Russell Wilson, with the Legion of Boom and Beast Mode. But as for me, it's more so Sean Alexander, Kobe Bryant, Sammy Sosa, because I was a big Cubs fan. My pops used to bring me to a Cubs game every so often, I want to say every other month, because the Cubs was real big when Sammy Sosa was in town. So it was more so Sammy, Kobe, Sean, and it's pretty much it.
Well, you named all the great players, and some of them in Chicago played in Chicago. But you've heard about the '85 Bears, right? You've heard of guys like Dan Hampton, Richard Dent, Wilbur Marshall. pretty good team, you heard, right? Pretty good team.
That team was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. If you look on paper, you won't even know. It looked good on paper, and it also looked good on the field. It was ridiculous. That was unfair back in the day with those guys.
Well, you're a defensive lineman, and you could appreciate teams that get sacks. I mean, they're sacking the quarterback 72 times in 1 year. Think about that, 72 times recording back in the season. When you hear that, what comes into your mind? What kind of style and physicalness you really need to bring to the table?
It's just more so when you're in that situation, it's more so just know what you're gonna do before the play begins. Because if you don't, then everything's messes up. Everything's in unison. Line up before you do any of that, you have to study your opponent. Study your opponent. Then once you line up, you just know this guy you study his tendency. This guy is too light of his feet. All right, I know what I'm gonna do. So, but you definitely have to be a real you have to turn on the switch to turn into an animal. I'm going to get to this quarterback, no matter what it takes. I'm going to get to this quarterback. And that's the mindset I always carry once I begin to play defensive line, because I got a little bigger over the years, and I'm real versatile. And I'm east west, I'm all over the field. You would think I would be playing safety or linebacker as a D lineman, because I'm always after whoever got the ball. But with the quarterback, yeah, that's money time to me. Because I know with sacks, that's a big thing playing the defensive lineman position. You really don't care about interceptions and getting touchdown. You just want to hurt the opposing team quarterback. That's everybody's dream.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
to get touchdown.
The '85 Bears not just beat teams; they beat teams where the opposing quarterback didn't want to take the field.
They was putting people in hospitals every week. It was because back then they didn't have
no, there was no rules back then. Ask Joe Montana.
They didn't they didn't have like the resources we have, like medicals and everything. Like, nah, like they was just putting people out and they were just doing with their careers after that. Like, I respect about that 85 Bears. Like, yeah.
I always.
But with Sweetness, he was just running through everybody. Like,
Yeah,
couldn't do nothing about it.
Well, by 85, he was towards the end of his career, but Walter Payton, I think, was a combination of players that I watched growing up. Earl Campbell, I don't know if you've ever heard of Earl Campbell, but and to me, O.J. Simpson in a lot of ways, he had that athleticism that O.J. Simpson had, but he had the toughness that Earl Campbell had. And back then they actually had fullbacks, which they don't have fullbacks in the NFL anymore. But he had that combination. It was a shame that Walter Payton never got a touchdown because the fridge, Mike Ditka gave the fridge the ball, William Perry, instead of Walter Payton. And Walter Payton was always upset about that. But getting back to you and football players, I find it fascinating. Football is a violent game. I remember talking to Dan Jiggets, former Chicago Bear and Chicago Blitz in the USFL, and he says playing a football game and the average fan who sits in his chair on Sunday doesn't understand it's like a mini car crash every week. Talk about the dealing with and playing with injuries and the adrenaline rush that you need after playing a game. You need a little time to cool down because you're not at war, but you are in a battle per se. Like, I'm not comparing what's going on in Russia today, but it's a physical battle, unlike any other sport.
Yeah, that's like the physicality of like playing football, especially like in the trenches with defensive linemen, is like you go up against people like I'm only 6 foot, 255. So like to go up against somebody that's like 6'7", 6'8", but like built as like a tank. It's like, yeah, it's like a car crash because like they're also trying to hurt you and protect their quarterback or protect receivers, running back. So you just banging and banging and banging every play almost because like you got your guys that's pulling, you got your guys that's like drop setting, or if you get double 10, you got somebody drop setting, they might come clean you up. So I could see it when people could look at it as like a car crash because like, especially in arena football is different because not only are you banging with the opposing lineman, you also like trying to tackle somebody, and if they gets the wall, that's legal. So like when you go against the wall, that's like going in another car accident. So it's like it could be real physical. You just gotta be like real Mamba mentality. That's all it takes.
There you go. Bring back Kobe Bryant. And we're talking with C.C. Brooks, a defensive lineman for the Magnolia State Spartans of the Arena Football League, and we saw in the Super Bowl, Joe Burrow gets sacked 7 times. He got sacked 70 times during the season. Is it the quarterback? And we've seen it at so many teams too. Even good teams are having trouble with the offensive line. Why are offensive lines having so much trouble protecting their quarterback?
Well, sometimes they can become it can be like inexperienced because the Bengals O-line were like they were a young O-line, and like once they went to playoffs, I think they lost a few key players to injuries. So like they had to like people just had to step up. And like it just so happened to be like they were just young, but they still fought to the end of the day. But at the same time, you're going up against the greatness and dominance of Aaron Donald. No matter who you put on Aaron Donald, he's going to get there. And that's one person I respect. Like, so with opposing O-linemen have trouble with defensive linemen like of that caliber is maybe because of inexperience or like they don't have like the same feel for that player. Like the Bengals and Rams, like they don't see each other as often. Like from the AFC and the NFC, so they don't see each other as often. So when you get to the playoffs, it's like people's banged up, but you just got to fight. So once you get to, especially if you make it to the Super Bowl, you just got to like just fight it out because you want to bring one for your city, you want to do it for your family, organization, for yourself. So like. But I can see like you just gotta have that experience because it could get real crazy in there with especially going against D line that has experience where they just working in unison. Like, all right, we're gonna do a twist, or we could just do a stunt, and the opposing all that don't know what to do because they don't know like they don't have no experience. So when you look at that, it's like you just gotta tough it out for the O lineman, but for the D lineman, you just gotta. You go against like experienced O-line, you just gotta like, just pay attention to tendencies, pay attention to what they want to do, what they like doing the most. With me, it's just more so like if I see like if I'm going against an inexperienced O line, it's like, oh, that's easy because you're not familiar with me and I'm not familiar with you, but I study your tendencies and I know you're not going to like. It's going to be hard for you to like go against me because like I'm canceling out everything that you're doing at your best. So it's just like just gotta be careful with those things. Hey, how you doing? Sorry, that's
all
my
right.
auntie.
That's all right. So say hi to Auntie for us, please. What kind of trash talk goes on in the defensive offensive line between the quarterback and the
You will not. You will. It's some things I can't say because like it can get real. I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna do whatever it takes to win, like for your team. You're gonna do whatever it takes. Like some people, it's easy to get inside their head. With me, it's no, it's not. It's football. At the end of the day, like I'm a father. Like I got kids, so they're the only ones that can like get me to that level. But anybody else can't get me there. But the trash talking. Have you played football before?
I did make my college football team. I was the 5th string running back, and we only had 4 running backs. So,
if you play any competitive sport, like the trash talking, it could go a long way. But in the trenches, especially, like not only do they trash talk, they do like they just do some dirty thing that's like it's just part of the game. So with the trash talking, it's like some things I can't say. Like they say real nasty things at times, but I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to win, so it doesn't bother me. I just gotta like step up like my adrenaline or something. Like, oh yeah, like you said that. Okay, I'm gonna remember that next play.
Talk about the adrenaline in the locker room before the game, getting mentally ready. What are you thinking of in that hour before a game, before kickoff?
Before kickoff, it's different. Because last year was my first year ever playing pro football. So translating from college to the pros. College it was like we just listen to music and we just sit there, just think about like the game and focus. But once I got to the pros, it was like a lot of screaming and it was just crazy. Like people just get like just get taped up. People get hyped up. Like that was especially at Auburn because they have a rich history in arena football. So like just playing with like a Darius Prince and Malachi Jones, seeing those guys like how they like approach like just approaching the game period, like pre-game, post-game, like it was crazy. But the locker rooms, it was live because we had a lot of players that like bought in, and like we had like a lot of young players as well. Like our whole defense was all rookies.
So talk about
nose tackle all the way to the linebacker. Yeah, sorry.
All right, no problem. Talk about playing college ball, and we've seen the incredible success that Nick Saban's had with Alabama and everything. Talk about the significance that coaches have on young football lives when they go from high school to college, and what makes a guy like Saban so successful. And is it just the recruiting, or is it coaching, or is it just overall thing?
Not only is the recruiter, it's like Nick Saban is like a player's coach. He's for the players before anything. Like he's gonna take care of his players. That's why like you see so many Alabama football players in the NFL. So like, and he treat his players as pros in college. Like you have to like hold them accountable to like if you want to make the NFL, all right, these are the steps you got to take. So like people, I think players really respect that about him, and like you're gonna grow over time. Like you're gonna go in 18 years old. By the time you graduate or you go to the league, you're fully developed as a man and you're ready. And I feel like he does a great job with that because he get the national championship, and also like I don't think people really pay attention to how many first round picks this man has every year. Not even just at Alabama, also at LSU. So it's just like I think he's done a great job with just molding his players and making them to man, just disciplining them at all costs. So like with coaches like that, you wanna build he does a great job with like building relationships before they get to Alabama. Like he stays in touch. He gets real cool with families. Like, he's that guy in college football. Like he's that guy for a reason. It's not just because like it's a reason why everybody wants to go to Alabama, not just because like, oh, we know we're gonna go to the NFL. Like, no, like you're gonna have to do some work. Like, it's Nick Saban. Like, you know you're gonna have to work. But coaches like him, you know, they tend to like, all right, you do your job, man. I'm gonna take care of you. That's all it is, and that's just life. You do your job, and good things come to you.
And so many young football players from high school going to basketball and in football, where college is going to be their pathway. What's the biggest thing you took away from college and has made you a better man today?
Time. Everything's about time. Like, you and just live it in the moment. You don't get those times back, especially in college, because you know, like, you don't play with the same players every year. Like, people leave, people come in. Maybe your coach leave, or like whatever, like personal, like real close connection you have. So with me, like the thing I take from college, like just time, man, just live in the moment, you know, because you don't get those times back, of course. Especially when I was at San Xavier, like we won 2 the year before, because I transferred to San Xavier. I originally went to Grayson in Iowa for 2 years, my first year of college. From once I transferred to San Xavier, the year before they went 5 or 6, they missed playoffs because they was, you know, it wasn't really, everybody's like really selfish there. So once I got there, it was like people really bought in and like we just had fun. And like those times that was probably one of the best times I had before I went to Auburn, you know, because we won a conference championship 2 years in a row. We started to get harder schedules. We wanted harder schedules. We got Illinois State my senior year, the second game of the year. We got like a lot of just getting a lot of good out of the whole situation, because like those guys were like, that was the most fun I ever had. Like if I could play, that was the best team I ever played with, because like we was good at the quarterback position, running back, all over. So it was just like, wow, like you might not ever get something like this ever again, to where like everybody's good on all cylinders. And like the times we had, like the road trips, I'll never forget the 18-hour almost trip there and back to Morningside University. We went there for a quarterfinals playoff game in the NAIA, and like it was tough because the seniors were like, we really wanted to do it for the seniors. Like the seniors, like it was like really locked in because they played with each other for 4 years straight. Nobody left. Everybody just stayed to the plan. And like once I got there and I seen that, I really wanted to win that for them, but unfortunately we didn't win it. But the ride back, it was just like, man, like we were just having a great time. Like it was so late, early in the morning, that we were still up, like just laughing, just talking about life and everything. Like some people had kids, and like they were just like, this before I had kids, and people just like give me advice like fatherhood and, you know, like just having a great time. We on the bus just talking about the game, even though we lost, like we still like think about the game. Like that was a good time. Like
Yeah,
really
the bus rides are a special time for athletes, where
yeah,
they
and it
bond.
gives you a lot of time to. It gives you a lot of time to think,
Yeah.
don't it? Like it just, especially like when you go for like a 9-hour drive, then you have to drive 9 hours back. Like it was, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot to think about and to talk about. But good thing that nobody was mad at each other. We just laughed about it. Like, man, we wish could have did it for the senior group, but that was my junior, so my senior group, we just we had to step it up. So.
And I got a few more questions for you, CC. We've seen over the last few years how defensive players are allowed to hit offensive players, and the quarterback is being very protected. And we've seen games turn on how you hit a quarterback. We've seen championships won or lost. How, as a defensive player, do you have to adjust, and how difficult is it to hit a quarterback the way the refs want you to hit a quarterback? I mean, you're moving, you're 250, 300, 325-pound linemen going, and you expect them to stop on a dime. How difficult is that for defense?
That is real. That's like one of the most difficult things to do, because like your momentum, especially like you're a heavier guy, like your momentum always goes forward. So like once the quarterback get the ball out of his hand, and like you try to like stop yourself, it's tough, because for one, you're not trying to hurt yourself. Like you're not trying to like tear an Achilles or anything. And two, like you're not trying to like cost the game by hitting the quarterback, especially if the game's on the line. Like I forgot what game was it. I think it was a Bears game where they had a practice squad guy come up, and they was about to win the game, but like they ruled it that he committed a late hit on the quarterback. I forgot the player name, but it wasn't. But if you look at it, it wasn't a late hit. He was trying to like stop himself from prevent from that happening. So that at times that's real tough because like you want to hurt the quarterback, you want to like make the play, but like you also respect the rules. So like when you like try to prevent those things from happening, then they throw the flag and like it's tough. Then when you challenge it and the refs was still ruling like lay hit on the quarterback, like he was still trying to like I'm still trying to like stop myself. Like I can't do nothing about it. It's momentum. Like I can't do nothing about that.
No, you got. I mean, you're taking away from the natural instinct of a defensive player.
What am I supposed to do in this situation? Like, I don't think some refs when like, if I'm a referee, I'm gonna think about like what would I have done, like how I would did it. Like, can you really slow yourself down? Like, especially running like 24 miles per hour or something like towards the quarterback. Like you're right, especially with me, I'm right there next to the quarterback. So my first step is like forward, and I'm trying to like get to him, and I'm like running as fast as I can. I'm trying to fight off the opposing line. So I got all this momentum going, and once I get to the quarterback, I'm trying to make the play, and he gets it out, but I'm still like in mid play. Like, what can I do about that? There's nothing that you could do. Like, you either get hurt or he get hurt, or just go out 100%. Just take it as a man. Just line up the next play and just play ball.
All right, CC, we're going to go in the future here. We're going our time machine here. Let's go
All
forward 40 years or so. You have your career, you have your kids, and you're talking to your grandkids around the fireplace around Christmas time when they're nice red socks.
Oh man, this tough.
So tell us the best football story. What would you tell your grandkids the best football story? What's CC Brooks's football story of his life? One story.
One story. It has to be the Albany experience, you know, because before the NAL, before Albany Empire went to the NAL, there's an AFL that's not distinct, which was like the most famous thing, you know, you got the Kurt Warners and everything. So just going to Albany and like being a part of that history, just going 7-1 and then winning the NAL championship. The story behind that, playing with Tommy Grady. I got stories with Derek Ross.
Well, do tell. I mean, share.
Yeah, like it's just like the locker room experience. Like as a kid, you know, when you play video games, you win a championship. You know, they do the whole scene with the bubble wrap locker room, like you champagne and everything on video games. And once I got to actually live that, it was crazy. Like I've never been a part of something like this ever. Like it was crazy to me. So like that whole experience of like winning the championship and like the adversity we had to like get to, like we had like so many like so many players like getting cut, so many players like just leaving, and just like players.
It's sad when friends get cut, right?
Yeah, like
it's sad.
Man,
it makes you upset.
Because you make like, you know what I'm saying, you make like a history with them as well. Like once y'all like get real cool and real close. Like I'll just tell my my future grandkids, man, like your grandpa had some times, especially in Albany, like just being around, like just walking around Albany, you see like the different things. Like before I get to Albany, I've never heard of a what's that called? A chopped cheese sandwich?
Chuck E. Cheese?
A chopped cheese. It's called chopped. It's like a chopped up cheeseburger.
Okay.
That's basically what it is. And I never heard it before, but I know New York is real big with Italian food too, as well as Chicago.
Yeah, there's a few Italians in New York. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah. And
in
they
Chicago,
always say like
Chicago's famous for Italians too, like Al Capone.
Yeah, like, and they always it's always the argument with the pizza, the whole pizza thing. Like, I'm gonna let this be known on radio. New York pizza, and I'm not being biased either. New York pizza is not better than Chicago. I just have to get that.
I don't know.
That out there, but
I don't know. I think I love the deep dish on occasion. It's see, New York pizza is like a snack in a lot of ways, unless you make it a meal. Chicago deep dish, you're going for the full meal because it's so filling.
And all you need is one slice.
Yeah, exactly. Now you got my mouth watering for a deep dish pizza now. So you did it to me, CC. You're killing me. Well, anyway, fans, catch CC Brooks with the Magnolia State Spartans of the Arena Football League. Follow him, and good luck in your endeavors here, and maybe get a shot at the NFL someday.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it. And also, catch us April 9th. We will be playing the Wichita Forest in Wichita, Kansas. It will be live streamed on YouTube. And for those looking to like buy some workout gear, I am with the Titan brand. You can use my code KINGC 2 times to get like a few dollars off and everything. But it's real comfortable, as you can see.
Yeah, it looks like that's a nice jersey. Yeah, that's a nice shirt.
Oh yeah. It's real comfortable too. It's like the thread and everything.
It's like a microfiber thing, right?
Yes, sir. Like you can work out with it. You can use it for fashion, working out.
And this is your company, you said, or
no? This is not my. This is coming out like sponsored by it. This is Titan.
Okay, all
Titan
right.
Brand, and also go check out the Jet Life Co-Company. Go check out my homies in Jet Life. Real streetwear fashion is real comfortable. You should also check out our game against the North Texas Bulls. That's going to be the game of the year to me. I've seen a lot of videos on those, and I think it's going to be a great game. We're bringing in a lot of great guys, so just tune in to Magnolia State Spartans, looking to make history in the state of Mississippi, bringing them their first arena team is forever. So we're going to put on the show this year. But nice talking to you, Mike, and thanks to everyone.
And to quote the line from the 300 Spartans, tonight we dine in hell. So
that is exactly what we go by, because we're the Spartans. So we're going to be at work every week starting April 9th. Just check us out.
All right, CC, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Football fans, get ready. The USFL is coming back after almost 40 years. That's right, the teams you loved in the 80s.
They're taking the field again. Get ready as kickoff is April 6th.
Babe, the USFL is back. Get my jersey ready.